love you. No two ways about them. Tindemana is the brand ambassador for Green Vision. Oh my God. Summit and Expo. Richmond. Kennedy. Kweku. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate you and we love you. This is the African History Class. I see you, Black Lion, the General. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate you and we love you. Daddy Bosco, I see you too. Thank you so much for joining us. Ras Otu Fonana to follow to Jaja I. Hey, to be good from. Yabo! Many more people right in the African History Class. I see you, TJ. Ameya Deborah. I see you, Mr. Hagler. Yeah, you are also smiling at me. Not Ebubedike. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate you. Raskojo Tona, like Michael Latriki Voju. I see you. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate you. Last Kobe is a trotro driver inside Awoshe. Nitaki is also here. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate you. Conscious Agbemenu. Ahosu, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate you and we love you. I see you, Sadia Apes. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate you and we love you. Many more people right in the African History Class. Can you see who I see? Oh my God, have mercy. Ajete Sowa, the legendary dancer, right in the African History Class. Thank you so much, not everybody. Bob Etona Malik. We appreciate you and we love you. I see you, Mashoud Abiola, all the way inside Kia City, aka Kaswa. TJ, I see you too. Daniel Kwame J, all the way inside the scrap city of Abuzoka. And Kwame B, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate you. This is the African History Class. Okay, and today we're looking at something very, very interesting, my brother, my sister. We're taking you all the way to the land called Uganda. My brother, my sister. This is a story that is going to blow your mind. It's an interesting story. Those of you who believe in spirituality, you will eat so much into this and gloss so much over this. Today we're going to Uganda to look at the very second president of the country. Now, who was the very first president of Uganda? Do you know? Students, if you know, put up your hand. The first president of Uganda. No, it's not Idi Amin. Ebe, I didn't say Idi Amin. Nah. Where did you get that from? Idi Amin was not the first president of Uganda. Can anybody Try this. First president of Uganda. Does anybody know? Anybody know? Nobody. All right. He was called Benedicto Kagimu Mugumba Kiwanuka. You want to hear it again? Benedicto Kagimu Magumba Kiwanuka. My God have mercy. Today, my brother, my sister, we are talking about the second president. How did he become the second president? What happened? What did not happen? My brother, my sister, today we're talking about the man who was named Apollo Milton Obote. Apollo Milton Obote. This is the man you see here. Now, in this class, we'll simply call him Milton Obote and take away the Apollo. Milton is spelled M-I-L-T-O-N. Obote is O-B-O-T-E. Now, Milton Obote was born on the 26th day of December in 1925. That was when he was born. My brother, my sister, and he was born in a small village known as the Akokoro village. The Akokoro village. Akokoro village in the Apak district in northern Uganda. Please note this, northern Uganda. My brother, my sister, he was the third child of 9 children. And his father was a tribal chief of the Oyima clan, known as the Lango ethnic group. My brother, my sister, the Lango ethnic group is from the northern and central parts of Uganda. And that region covers areas formerly known as the Lango district until 1974, the year I was born. My brother, my sister, when it was moved into the districts of Apak and Lira. My brother, my sister, he came from the Oyima clan of the ethnic group known as the Lango. It's like the Gbese, and the bigger thing is the Gamashi. My brother, my sister, today we are talking history. He began his education in 1940 when he was 15 years old. Why did he start school so late? His father was a traditional ruler who did not believe in education. He believes in having him raised as somebody serving the gods and somebody farming. But he loved education. And he would sneak to the school sometimes. Sometimes his father would send his agents and subjects to go after him. They will bring him home and he will give him some good lashes. One day the teacher came to the father and begged him to allow the boy to go to school. He told him the importance of education. How if only we would want to liberate ourselves from the white man, we would have to go to school. His father reluctantly agreed. And he started school at the age of 15 in 1940. When he started school, oh my God, he was so studious. He attended the Protestant missionary school in Lira. And Lira, as you all know, my brother, my sister, is a city in the northern region of Uganda. And it is the main municipal, administrative, and commercial center of the Lira district. My brother, my sister, he later attended the Gulu Junior High School, in those days called the Junior Secondary School. And then he went to Busoga College in Mwiri. Mwiri. M-W-I-R-I. Mwiri. My brother, my sister, he eventually went all the way to the Makerere University. Now, the Makerere University is Uganda's largest and oldest institution of higher learning. First established as a technical school in 1922, 3 years before our hero was born. Brother, my sister, it became a national university in 1970. Our hero went to that school, Makerere University. He studied law. In fact, he intended to study law. He started to study law, but it was not a subject that was taught at the University of Makerere. So Obote took a general arts course, including English and geography, whilst he studied law privately. My brother, my sister, at Makerere University, Obote honed his natural oratorical skills. In other words, oratory, how to speak in public. In fact, he was a master debater, and he could speak and convince any crowd. As if he knew this helped him later in life, in his journey as a politician. My brother, my sister, he decided to study law abroad. Yes. At Makerere, Obote, my brother, my sister, became well known because of his oratory skills. But he was expelled for participating in student strikes. Later, he decided to leave and study law. In fact, the subject that he loved so much, oh my God, he worked in Buganda. Now, Buganda is a Bantu kingdom within Uganda. That was where he studied and worked as well in the southern part. Now, this Buganda was later moved to Kenya, where he worked as a construction worker. Brother, my sister, I'm talking about working in Buganda and then later moving from Buganda to Kenya. Brother, my sister, he worked in an engineering firm. He went through all this. Now, whilst he was in Kenya, see what happened. Obote became so involved in national independence movements. Upon returning to Uganda in 1956, he joined the political party, the Uganda National Congress, UNC, and was elected to the Colonial Legislative Council, which is almost like the parliament, in 1957. And in 1959, 2 years after Ghana's independence, the UNC, that's the Uganda National Congress, split into two factions, with one faction under the leadership of Obote, merging with the Uganda People's Union to form the Uganda People's Congress, UPC. My brother, my sister, he continued to grow and to grow and to grow. Now, in the run-up to the independence elections, Obote formed a coalition with the Buganda Royalist Party, Kabaka Yeka. And he was such a powerful man. And he loved tradition so much. He loved Buganda. Now the two parties controlled a parliamentary majority. And Obote became the prime minister in 1962. Watch this. He became the first prime minister of Uganda upon gaining independence. He assumed the post on 25th April 1962. Appointed by Sir Walter Coates, my brother, my sister. Now, Sir Walter Coates, my brother, my sister, was a colonial administrator. His full name, Sir Walter Fleming Coates, and Coates is spelled C-O-U-T-T-S. He was a British colonial administrator and was Uganda's final governor before independence. My brother, my sister. So he swore him in as the prime minister. Oh my God. And who was the president? Benedicto. Brother, my sister. And that was what happened. So they gained their independence in 1962. And boom, he became the prime minister. 2 years later, in 1964, a mutiny occurred at the military barracks at Jinja. Oh my God. Uganda's second city and home to the 1st Battalion of the Ugandan Army. There were similar mutinies in 2 other Eastern African states. My brother, my sister, there was blood all over the place. Hey. even in Kenya. Struggle all over the place. As Prime Minister, Obote was implicated in a gold smuggling plot together with Idi Amin, then Deputy Commander of the Ugandan Armed Forces. Did you hear that? Idi Amin Dada was serving under the government of Obote. In fact, he was the deputy commander of the Ugandan army, and he and Obote came from the same northern part of Uganda. In fact, the same village. They were even close cousins. My brother, my sister, he and Idi Amin were involved in gold smuggling. Now, when the parliament demanded an investigation of Obote and the ousting of Amin, who was then the deputy commander of the Ugandan Armed Forces, he suspended the constitution and declared himself president in March 1966, 4 years after independence. He was implicated in a gold smuggling with Idi Amin. And when Parliament wanted to step in, he decided to suspend the constitution and call himself the president after being the prime minister. And when he became president, what happened? He made Idi Amin continue, my brother, my sister, and he even gave him more power to operate. There was a state of emergency, and Obote was the president. Brother, my sister, there was a rioting in Mutisa's palace. That was a very powerful palace in Buganda. My brother, my sister, he decided to send his soldiers there to riot. But the attack on the palace only made him more and more hated by the people of Uganda. Why would you go and attack an ancient kingdom like that? Brother, my sister, the assault on Mutisa's palace and its aftermath played a significant role in the shaping of Uganda's political landscape. It contributed to the rise of Idi Amin, who later seized power in a military coup in 1971. My brother, my sister, 9 years after independence. Hey, he seized power and kicked out his own cousin, Obote, and became president. My brother, my sister, after doing this, hey, Obote ran into exile in Zambia, and Idi Amin became the new leader of the country. My brother, my sister, listen to the interesting things. Hey. Hey. Now, after Idi Amin became president, Obote was still in Zambia in exile. But whilst he was there, he was so interested in fighting to become president again. He believed that his people still loved him and would want to make him president. Hey. Idi Amin became very much hated in Uganda. He became less popular, and they kicked him out in a coup d'etat. And when he was kicked out in 1979, after spending 8 years in power and terrorizing the people of Uganda, Obote returned to Uganda. By 1980, Uganda was governed by an interim presidential commission at the time of the 1980 elections. And when the elections went on, Obote was reinstated and he became president again for the second time. But it suffices it now to let you know that there was an attack on Obote. They wanted to take his life. My brother, my sister, some people came in trying to take his life. There was a man called Mohammed. Mohammed was the one who fired the shot. He shot At Obote, when he was coming out of the presidential palace, the bullet hit his face. In fact, it hit his mouth and removed 2 teeth from his mouth and came out of his cheek, breaking his cheekbone. If it had come out straight, Obote would have been a dead man. There was another man who was with Muhammad. He also threw a grenade, hand grenade, at Obote. Unfortunately, the grenade refused to explode. And Obote's bodyguards fired at the 2 of them, Muhammad and the other culprit, but they both escaped. My brother, my sister, this was when our hero realized that Ugandans had become very tired of him and they wanted to get rid of him. He decided that he would have to plan and leave, but there was a coup d'etat again. On the 27th day of July in 1985, Obote was deposed again. When he was kicked out of power, overthrown by his own army commanders in a military coup d'etat. This time round, the commanders were Brigadier Basilo Olara Okello and General Tito Okello. And Tito Okello, we will talk about him another time. Oh my God, very controversial figure. My brother, my sister, he ran into exile again. And this time round, he fled to Kenya and then later to Zambia. For some years, it was rumored that he was going to return to Uganda. But in August 2005, when he announced his intention to step down as leader of the UPC, the Uganda People's Congress, it didn't take long before he died of kidney failure in a hospital in Johannesburg, South Africa, at the age of 79. Obote was given a state funeral by the President Museveni in the Ugandan capital, Kampala, in October 2005, to the surprise and appreciation of many Ugandans, because he and Museveni had been bitter rivals and enemies. Other groups such as the Baganda, survivors of the Lowiro Triangle massacres, were bitter that Obote was given a state funeral. In fact, it was one of the numerous massacres he initiated. He was survived by his wife and 5 children. And on the 28th of November 2005, his wife, Miria Obote, was elected the UPC party president. Today we remember this son of the land, very controversial and yet quite powerful. He was the one who survived the bomb explosion. He survived a bullet that hit his face and broke 2 of his teeth. And instead of coming out from the other side of his head, it rather went left and broke his left, in fact, his right cheekbone. He survived it. My brother, my sister, he was president twice and prime minister once. What a man. Today we remember you, Milton Obote. Today we remember you. Uniyaminko. 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 He massacred people in Uganda just to continue being in power. He was corrupt, yes, like many African presidents. He stole the gold of the people of Uganda, sold the gold and made money for his personal pockets. He connived with Idi Amin. He protected Idi Amin and raised Idi Amin all the way to becoming a kingpin of Ugandan politics. And the same Idi Amin removed him in a coup d'etat, his own cousin. Today we remember you. Milton Obote. I did a burden of knowledge ask. Now that you know the story of Apollo Milton Obote, what would you do? Biane ni ole mini obafe yenzunda kagane mezaka yine ye ampa bango bukaya nan fifi aye nyanu kai na wo bana enwe be den lele anjima singa be kunne lele anjima singa be ri. It's been the African History Club.
Tutu Bovi, Papa mula homeo, Mama mula homeo, how na ima vinye, panumbo.
And my name's certainly Blakk Rasta.
The emperor, the conqueror, the champion, the lion is here.
Abr
Zabu, zabu,
Wait.